Has anybody got a spare warehouse for me? The boxes are just getting bigger and bigger. In this review we're looking at a 1:18 scale European container trailer, and there's also a 1:18 scale container to go with it. Get the knife out, cut the tape, and let's see what's inside. And here's the box in NZG's black colour scheme. And the box for the container is also in black. Let's take a look at the container trailer first. And on the underneath of the box is the NZG logo. And the model is listed as number 977. However, when paired up with the brown container in this set, then the model number for the set is 97970. Inside the box we find the usual pair of expanded polystyrene trays. And they are factory sealed with tape, so a swish of the knife is needed. Lifting the lid we can then see that the model is wrapped in soft paper. And at this point we can begin to see that this is a jolly big model. The box for the container is also interesting because it has a slight ribbing like the container itself. And if we look at one end, the box is actually printed with container doors and locks. Inside the box the trays are slightly different, so we can pull the container out from one end. For the assembly of this set there's not too much to do, other than you really do need giant hand cranes to land the big container. With careful and skilled operating you can land it onto the container locks, and as you would expect the container is a very good fit onto the trailer. Before we go any further, let's get to grips with the size of this giant model, and we'll start by putting the trailer onto the Cranes etc. weighbridge. And with careful balancing it weighs 2 kilograms or over 4 pounds. The weighbridge doesn't get any rest though, because up comes the big container, and more careful balancing is required. And once it's on we see it's 4 kilograms or nearly 9 pounds. This big model cries out for a dim check. And in terms of height it's 22 centimeters or nearly 9 inches. And if we go end to end, we see it's 69 centimeters or nearly 27 inches. We start by looking underneath the trailer and the structure is modelled well. And the close-up details don't disappoint either. There are hoses clipped inside the main beams. The landing legs are of all metal construction, and the underrun bumpers are also metal. But it's looking at the axles where the excellent details afforded by the 1:18 scale shine through. Again there are more flexible hoses and the tanks to go with them. And the suspension is very detailed. This also extends to the inside of the wheels. There are small details like valves on the hoses in hard to see places. At the front you can see where the hoses come to the connection points. And the end caps are nicely detailed, although you can't actually plug in coiled lines from a tractor. There are lights and container locks. And as we move down the trailer there are more finely detailed container locks. The wheel arches are modelled in metal, and the tyres are very nice although they don't have branding, but the wheels are very detailed. Viewed from above you can also see more high quality detailing of the hoses and valves. At the back there's a dummy NZG number plate, and the rear lights and graphics look sharp. Moving on to the big shipping container, and the rib structure is modelled really well. At the front there are some number graphics, and the sides and top of this big container model are all metal. Another properly detailed part of the model is the corner connection points. At the back and the rear doors look excellent. The locking bolts are fully modelled and there are nice small graphics, and there are rubber seals all around the door edges. Overall the container looks great. Here's a view of the underside, and it's interesting to note both the NZG and Keng Fai logos. Starting with the big rear wheels, and they spin nice and freely. And the model engineering of the suspension is excellent. It's all linked together with a very nice stiffness, and it's really impressive. Moving on to the landing legs, and the pads are pivoting, and there's also a winding handle which you can move down, and if you like you can go for a real wind up and keep winding it up. It doesn't actually work to move the legs, but you can raise the legs from the locked down position, and you do that by pressing in a little clip on the inside of the leg. And this system works well too. On the side of the trailer there's a storage box which opens, and it's got that very nice modelling of tiny magnets which are used to hold the door shut. Another triumph which is possible in this scale is to model working container locks. And these are really nice and give the model a realistic feel. It doesn't end there though, because the modelling of the container doors is also excellent. The locking bolts are clipped in a closed position and you can release them and then swivel the locks. And when you've done that and got them all lined up properly, you can swing open the doors. Because these are metal, they're nice and heavy and they swing fully to an open position. And the inside of the container is realistic looking too. If you've got salami-sized fingers, there's a tool with the trailer that helps you to open the locks. And you might be surprised what you find inside. Here we have a 1:50 scale heavy haulage truck, and that just demonstrates how big this model container really is. Let's close the door on the container, and included with the trailer is a fifth wheel. That can be fitted to one of NZG's big 1:18 scale tractor models, and we're fitting it to a big Scania V8. Here you can see that it's also got a locking clamp, and because it might be difficult to reach when a trailer's on, NZG include this helpful tool. With the Scania tooled up, we can attach the trailer, and we need to lower the landing leg slightly to make it happen. Once the pin is engaged into the fifth wheel, we can lock it in place, and then the big Scania and trailer move together effortlessly. Now we'll raise the landing legs fully before we hit the road. To hit the road we need a load, so we need to fire up the giant hand crane again to lift in the giant container. Once again, with careful skill and operating intellect, we can land the container properly onto the container locks. With that done, we then have a hugely impressive model, and because of its heavy weight, it rolls super smoothly. Both the trailer and container are hugely impressive models by NZG. Full advantage has been taken of the 1:18 scale to provide detail and functionality, and when you add it together to a suitable tractor, you get something very special. Of course it's not cheap because it's such a big model, but it's certainly excellent.